I'm Jenn Page.
And I'm John Curtis.
And we're two nerds in a garage. Oh, man. Thank you guys so much for the past 2 weeks. We have gotten
100.
Over 100 subscriptions the first 2 weeks.
Thank you so much.
We were having a blast making these.
Love it so much. Talking to you afterwards,
yes,
reading the comments.
You know what my favorite part of that is?
What?
When you guys tell him he's wrong.
But
there was a lot of you being wrong.
Such bullshit.
Actually, can we go through a couple of those? Because I think we should just make sure that you hear some of these. Like
had not known that you actually flagged this.
We had a discussion on whether or not, I don't remember which thing it was that was whether it was a reboot or a remake. We were having a big argument about it. And Sarah says, John, it's a reboot.
Okay.
Where else? Oh, but by the way, Sarah also had a really great idea about trading places. She said that you could have new characters of Kevin Hart and Jason Sudeikis.
That would be so great. I would watch that in a second. Trading places with Kevin Hart and Jason Sudeikis. Just think about it.
Another listener, Brian McKee, says, "Really, John? Last Starfighter should never be retouched. Leave the masterpieces alone." See, wrong again.
About what you can do.
Again. Although I was apparently wrong, and I don't think I was wrong.
Oh, you just said it.
But I was disagreed with Darren Flam, who says reality TV should have been higher on the list of not cool things, and Jen is dead wrong about quoting movies.
Yes, who is this man? He is awesome.
Although Augustine says, also 100% agree, John does not listen.
Flirk that guy.
Oh, you guys are so much fun. I love it, love it, love it, love it.
Okay, I have questions for you.
We didn't discuss this.
Yes, I have nerd questions that could cause us to argue.
Great. Let's break up on air.
Yes.
Fun times.
So I'm going to start with possibly one of the
This is going to go horribly wrong.
No. I'm going to start with one of the most important questions that has ever been posited in the world of nerddom. Okay?
Oh, God.
This is huge.
I'll edit it out later. It's fine.
And it's been asked before. Kevin Smith has asked this in one of his movies. So I'm not the first to bring this up.
Okay.
But you and I have never talked about this.
Okay.
Would sex with Superman kill Lois Lane?
Oh, my God. Okay, first of all, he knows I'm not a fan of anything sex on the show. So he's already putting himself at risk of being punched on the camera right now. But why? How is that even? I don't even think that's a question. I think that's ridiculous.
Question. No, it's not ridiculous. Listen, their love is real.
Look, I've seen on say Jessica Jones, Nick Cage. They've had the two superheroes have it out together. It breaks down walls and literally destroys things. But if you're a superhuman with a regular human, you're going to be extra careful.
Let's be honest, though, since we're actually specifically talking about this, let's break it down. When you're in the heat of the moment and your passions are wild.
I'm not comfortable with this conversation, just so we're clear. Like, what if my mom is watching?
I think she'd have a good opinion about it.
I think she would not. Anyway.
All right. Next question.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to talk about books versus movies because that'll be another episode. Okay.
So why even bring it up?
Books versus movies. Think about it. Captain Kirk versus Captain Picard.
Okay, you're asking me, you're basically going, how much of a nerd are you? No. And outing me that I'm not as much of a nerd as you. Now, here's the thing. Okay, first of all, I'm going to text my Star Trek nerd line, Helpline, and see if they get back to me in time.
I'm going to emphasize again, this is a nerd safe space. There's no nerd shaming. Whatever you do or don't know is not being judged here, okay? So if you don't know enough about Kirk or Picard, fine. So be it.
I'm going to text Summer Walters, who is the biggest Star Trek nerd I know, and I'm going to ask her, Kirk or Picard. Am I spelling that? Are you even spelling that right? How do you spell it?
Yeah, she spelled it.
Just how do you spell it?
P-A-R-C-A-R-D. Parcard. It's P-I-C.
I thought we don't nerd shame.
We don't nerd shame, but we grammar shame.
He is the worst. I will text him and he will reply with like, "You missing a comma there?"
I'm a horrible person.
Horrible.
Look, grammar Nazis suck, and I'm one, and I suck most of the time because of that.
How do you spell
Picard,
it?
Picard. So I will say that Captain, in my opinion, and I know I'm not in the majority with this, Captain Kirk is my man, okay? So if you don't know, Captain Kirk is a punch first, ask questions later kind of guy, but he's smarter than people let on to be, okay? He's crafty. He knows strategy. So I feel like Picard is crafty and knows strategy, but Kirk brings this aggressiveness that will just win him the war.
See, here's how I would answer. And it's that I like, what's his face that plays Picard?
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. I would say, well, I just like him better.
Yeah, he's Professor X.
As a
who doesn't love
human.
Professor X.
I love him.
Okay. All right. Next question.
Okay.
I will be moving on. Who is the best Batman?
The best Batman. Well, I think best is a subjective word, I guess.
No.
So, okay. Because I have a favorite Batman, which is Michael Keaton, because I think
What?
he's the most fun. But is he the best Batman? No. He's
Oh.
my favorite Batman. I think the best Oh, so here's the other thing.
Wait.
I don't like Christian Bale, really. Sorry, Christian. You're a great actor, but you're not my cup of tea. But Nolan's Batmans are the best Batmans, which makes Christian Bale the best Batman.
Okay, so you answered the question.
But my point is, like, I don't like Christian Bale. I like those Batman movies.
So him being that Batman helps make those the best Batman
But you could have put pretty much anybody in, and Chris Nolan makes people look freaking awesome. I'm going to think of anybody else I could have cast in those roles.
Yeah, okay, that's
not
a
Ben
great
Affleck.
question.
No.
I
Bottom
think
of the
Ben-
list.
I think,
Bottom.
incorrect. George Clooney, Val Kilmer were below Ben Affleck.
I don't remember George Clooney.
Thank you.
That says
So
a
you
lot.
proved my point. I think Ben Affleck was a very serviceable Batman. Not better than Christian Bale. I think Ben Affleck was better than Michael Keaton. Ooh, that's gonna stir up a hornet's nest.
Yeah, I'm looking for you guys. I know I'm being the earthquake on the camera.
You want to talk more about this?
Well, I just think that it's going to be fun when the audience says that you're wrong. I think everybody will probably agree that Christian Bale is the quote unquote best Batman. But I'm telling you,
Because
it's to Christopher Nolan's credit. Put Christian Bale in a DC movie, and it's like, why do you like him so much? And what is with the stupid voice that every Batman puts on? I hate it so
They're
much.
obscuring their identity. They have to do it.
Why? Just
Because
put on.
of IT.
All you
Hey,
do is on.
who's this
all you
talking
do is-
right now? It's John Curtis.
Just put on glasses.
Who's this talking right now? It's not John
No,
Curtis.
you just
It's
put
some
on
guy with a
glasses
raspy
and nobody
voice.
knows who you are. That's how it works, right?
I disagree.
He just wants to do bad Batman impersonations.
I do.
All right, what
Moving
else
on.
you got?
Moving
Oh,
on.
wait. Summer replies. Summer says, well, duh, Kirk. Professional nerd opinion. Thank you, Summer.
Thank you, Summer. All right, next question. Marianne or Ginger?
Wow, you're going back to when I was a kid and barely remember those.
Gilligan's
Okay,
Island.
so from what I remember from Gilligan's Island,
Yes.
I would probably say, I don't know. Like, part of me is saying Ginger because she's more confident as a woman, and like Marianne, I remember wasn't she a little bit like, I don't know.
It seems if
Needy?
you can't remember her, you're in Team Ginger.
I'm always Team Ginger. Go Weasley.
Fair enough.
What do you have?
I'm Team Marianne.
And why? Remind me of why.
Girl next door.
Yeah, well, luckily you like that because you like me.
Whatever. Oh my God. We're moving on. Okay. All right. Last but not least, Liam or Chris?
Oh, I want to say, ooh, just to your question, it's gross.
What?
In
I
what
just
way?
I
Like-
just did Marianne versus Ginger.
I thought you meant like, as in like, do you like the character better?
Well,
I didn't think you meant like in a
Character.
sexual way.
well, they have characters. Okay, who do you like better physically, Liam or Chris? Which is an easy question because it's Chris.
Well, we all know that Chris is the better looking brother.
Poor Liam, man.
And then like their other brother got none
Hey,
of the.
Liam is no slouch. Dude is hot. Moving on.
I think you like Liam because he looks more like you. The dark hair, the dark features.
If I thought for
do they have the same parents?
Universe, Liam looked like me. I would want to live in that universe. Moving on. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
We can't talk about that. We have a whole holiday episode coming up.
We will save that for the holiday episode. That is all my questions for you.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, we didn't break up. We got this close.
There are more questions in the future. I tucked away a few.
Well, that's good. Well, then I guess I have questions for you. Just kidding. What did you just? I got lightsabered again.
Yeah, I just shirted myself.
Exactly.
You know what's funny? You can say I sharded myself, but I can't say what you said. I sharded.
Why would you ever admit if you did that?
Totally didn't. That's a win for today.
Sure.
That's a win.
Okay, guys. So, do you guys remember back in the days of like the Commodore 64? That's what we had at my house. We had a Commodore 64. Did you guys have a Commodore 64?
TRS-80.
Is that a Terminator? Okay.
It's
a computer?
It is a computer. Like BASIC. You wrote in BASIC and you had like
Did you even know what BASIC was back then,
Yes, I wrote code.
But did you know the word BASIC? Or did you go...
The program was named BASIC. Literally. So I like, are you writing BASIC? Yes. It was named BASIC.
Well, ours didn't have that. I remember having the books of all of the like different little jibber jabbers that you would
Jibba jabba.
You would like put in the little box, and you would spend hours putting it all in, and then you would hope all of a sudden at the end that your game would work that you thought you were making, and it rarely ever worked because it's hard to put in all that stuff correctly. But I didn't think about it at the time. I didn't know, I'm coding. I'm making, you don't think about like, this is something futuristic. This is something, if I continue to learn this, I will be crazy rich in the future instead of, living off ramen noodles. But that also got me thinking, had people told us more about that as kids, we would have more, there'd have been more things about video games that we could have been like, I don't need school.
We can learn stuff through video game. Like if we had video games our whole lives, we could have learned things from video games and not have to go to school.
Well, we did have video games our whole lives, and that's my point.
Yes.
Like, what are 5 things that you learned from video games that said, hey, I didn't need school?
Go to school.
Exactly. You have, like, what's one?
I have. Okay, my first one. If you've ever played Halo, perhaps any first-person shooter, but I'm going to say Halo, okay? All the Halo players out there. Life lesson, always strafe.
What is strafe? You're making that word up. That's a ridiculous word.
No, it's strafe. It's a thing, okay? So in video games, you're like, you're
get
first
strafed
person.
because you wore tight pants?
You're turning. But when you strafe, you're like sidestepping, and you're continuing to watch all the action, okay? You're strafing. Your eyes are on the prize. So that translates to life. Always strafe. Don't take your eye off of what's going on.
If only you would strafe when we play Realm Royale instead of tweeting and looting.
First of all, you can't strafe during Realm Royale. Perhaps a game flaw. Anyway.
Well, I would say then when we talk about Realm Royale, I have learned a lot of lessons from Realm Royale.
Please.
Let's see. I learned that leadership is important. But also trusting your teammates is important.
Don't have to go to school.
You have to work together and, not go off by yourself looking for loot and then suddenly getting killed. And then the rest of us are like, I guess we're using our hard-earned shards to resurrect Rand over there.
I feel like this is going someplace.
And then he's dead. Sometimes I'm like, don't resurrect him. Let him be dead.
Let him learn his lesson. Let it be known that everyone goes for loot in that game.
Well, as a team...
I do it as a team.
As yourself.
And then I get a bunch of kills.
And then you die. So when you went to school in elementary school, you were friends with people who lived in your neighborhood, who had similar
That's how you
backgrounds.
Met people.
Exactly.
Like, you talk about common things.
And now look at us. We have friends all over the world that we like friends. Like we talk about real issues and real things
online
while we're playing these games
with people over voice chat
and with people we would have probably never met in town. Like for instance, our super cool dirt bike dad, Midnight.
in Canada.
In Canada.
Yes.
How would we ever have met him?
We have Two-Tone Capone.
And
he's a vet from Texas.
And very political. We
Yes.
talk politics all the time while we're playing.
Yes, yes.
We have Gamer Sage, who is an actor in Chicago, and he's booking so many roles lately that we don't even get to play with him.
I know, it sucks, but good for you, man.
Yeah.
And we also have Chimichanga from New York.
I love Chimmy. Chimmy is always eating. It's so fun.
Playing Call of Duty, I learned that people are awful.
People can be awful, but what do you mean?
No. So in the games you play now, I think they've refined gaming in terms of like you only hear your teammates, which can result in some pretty bad language and stuff like that. But before, you would hear opponents or people playing against you, and if you lost, like, oh God, you would hear the worst things coming out of people's mouths.
Well, I don't know. Two-Tone
Like
says that when he plays other things like Genesis, that he is a horrible. He's admittedly that he's a horrible human.
Yeah,
but he's very laid back when he plays Realm.
But
so
I
maybe
don't think he would go to like the least common denominator and go after like race and religion and like So if you don't have to go to school to realize people are awful, just do video games. Although I think it might be better now. All right,
I don't know. Okay, let's go old school. One of the first games I ever played and what made me sort of fall in love with video games was Pitfall on Atari.
Ah!
Yes.
Pitfall Harry!
And so for Pitfall, what I learned was that you always got to keep moving forward, keep your head up, and just keep swinging till the end.
Yes. And don't land on the alligator mouth.
No.
That's an important life lesson.
Always land on
their
head.
You don't have to go to school for that. So school doesn't teach you that.
Which if you live in Florida, you may actually need this in real life.
Oh. While playing World of Warcraft for a hot minute, I learned that nerds can rule the world.
Okay, I like this one.
Okay. You get a bunch of people together, like 20 to 40, like all these people come together in this landscape of gaming, and they have these raids, and everyone's working together, healing and tanking and like offense and defense. It's just so amazing to see what people can do if they coordinate themselves. If you translate that over to the real world, come on.
Oh yeah, we could take over,
Rule
make
the
things
world.
work, have a actual good government.
World of Warcraft
that
leaders.
Together. One game I literally think about probably every day, and every time I pack a trunk or a closet or anything, is Tetris. I learned. You have no idea, guys, how much film gear I can put in the back of a Prius. Because of Tetris, like thinking about the L shape, and you can slide it in. And
I've
move it
seen
here.
this. It is uncanny. I'm like, this is 2 carloads. And she goes, no, it's not. And literally packs everything.
Oh, man.
Because of Tetris.
Yeah. Like we've had dollies in there with like all the gear. Now, does the car low ride? It does.
Who needs school when you have fantastic video game storylines with regard to literature?
So you're saying I never needed to read Shakespeare because I had video games?
Shakespeare sucks.
He
you
doesn't
have
really
Legend
mean
of Zelda.
that. He quotes Shakespeare.
Yes.
Like he'll go around doing whole monologues.
I'm going to start from like the beginnings. You have Legend of Zelda. Although the heroine doesn't need to be rescued nowadays, there's some things we could fix there. You have Ninja Gaiden. You have Knights of the Old Republic. You have the Witcher series. I've heard of Last of Us is an amazing storyline.
What do you guys think are amazing storyline video games? That's we should play the most recommended amazing.
Please recommend the best storyline in a video game.
And that way we never have to, think about school again.
Yeah,
I never have to read again. I can burn all my books.
Don't even learn to read. Just play a video game.
My final one is Sims Busting Out. What? So I played this on Xbox platform years ago. So it's basically Sims, but instead of building stuff, you are building characters in their lives. So it basically teaches you a balance of fun and play and work and peeing. Like you literally had to go, if you did not take your Sim to the toilet, they would pee on themselves. And here's the funny thing is anybody who's worked with me on set will be like, Jen, you didn't even learn that lesson. Because I'll be on set, like, they'll be like, have you peed yet today? I'm like, no, I don't have time.
That is something you learn in school. You got to pee, you got to pee. But it's why is that an important aspect of the game? No other game you have to pee.
You know what? I couldn't tell you why it's important, but it's one of those things where like you literally, if you're playing the game and you're like, I'm going to just be out having fun, but you're not paying attention to the fact that they're hungry or that they have to go to the bathroom, you have problems. So you have to keep the balance.
Is there romance in that game?
I think there's a romance. Like there's no like, visual stuff, but
there's real people there, right?
No. You're playing with, it's all computer. It's you and all computer people.
But you do romance with a robot?
But you do, well, basically you're trying to flirt with, you decide who you want to flirt with, and if they don't like your flirting, or if you try to do it too soon, they diss you. It's I don't know. It was addictive.
Don't have to go to school. See, look at that.
Exactly. I didn't need anything.
Simulator teaches you everything.
It's one of those games, though, like it's probably like World of Warcraft, where you literally will spend 4 8 hours, like a lot of time.
That's on the short end of World of Warcraft.
Right. But like you realize, oh, I haven't left to eat. I haven't talked to humans in weeks.
I haven't gone to the bathroom in days.
So. To dig us out of this hole that we've just gone way down into, can we please get an audience question for the week?
Yes, I think we can.
Hey, I'm Augie from Los Angeles. I have a Star Wars question for you. Do you call them AT-AT walkers or AT-ATs?
Great question.
I think we get the most Star Wars questions asked.
Yes, we're gonna have a lot of Star Wars questions, but I'm okay to embrace them. I've always called them AT-ATs.
I've always called them AT-ATs.
Okay, let's preface this by saying in the Star Wars universe and all the movies, they never actually say AT-ATs or AT-ATs. They always refer to them as Imperial Walkers. Now, I thought we were in the majority the whole time. Okay, I thought it's just AT-ATs. Okay, everyone else who says something different is stupid. However, Augie, who just asked the question, says AT-ATs. And I started asking people around. At least 50% of the people said AT-ATs, and I was shocked.
Really?
Yes.
Well, okay, here's my question. It's never said in the movies. It's never said. But we know that it means what? All-terrain...
Armored transport.
Armored transport, okay. So was that on a toy packaging? Like, how do we know that even is a thing?
Well, there was no pronunciation on the toy packaging. It just said AT-AT. Oh, I just said AT-AT.
That was a really short question, so... Yes. You want to throw another one out?
Another question.
Hi, I'm Randy in Los Angeles, and I have a question for you. Who would win in a fight? Darth Vader or Dumbledore?
Good question.
Okay, we have to break it down. I mean, my instinct right away said Dumbledore, but if I break it down, I'm like, the Force, especially with that one, is so strong, right? It's the dark side, so it's pure evil, right?
Also, okay, bringing that up.
Okay.
If Vader gets to use all of the evil and dark side stuff, like I'm going to choke you out, kill you, do whatever I can to just annihilate you, Dumbledore can't play by those same rules.
Right.
He can't use any of the forbidden curses. He can't use Avada Kedavra. He can't use the Imperious Curse. He can't.
So he's at an unfair advantage to start.
Yes.
But he can do things like Expelliarmus and make the lightsaber fly out of his hand.
Well, who says if the lightsaber flies out of his hand, Vader can't just pull it back right away?
And Vader could pull the wand out of it.
Yeah.
But Dumbledore is very powerful.
And he could apparate.
He could
just like teleport.
So if Vader's got him in a force chokehold, can he apparate out of that? Or is this hold too strong?
Do you need your wand to apparate?
I don't, that's the weird thing about the Harry Potter universe, is I feel like if you're a strong enough wizard, you shouldn't, but they all have wands, right?
They all have wands. But please enlighten us. I cannot figure out this conundrum.
I know, this is a very complex one. And
okay.
I you know what, sadly, I think Vader might win.
Vader might win, but this is it. If Dumbledore gets into a place where he thinks he's going to lose, he just apparates to Hogwarts or something. Hey, I'm in my safe space. I can start that fight all over again. Like Vader can't leave.
But what if? Well, let's make it higher stakes then. They're at Hogwarts. They're out. There's all these kids are there in danger. He can't leave them. So now he has to fight.
That's a great.
Vader wants to take over Hogwarts, and he wants to become the new Voldemort.
Can Vader deflect
spells? Can Vader
spells?
Kill Voldemort?
Ooh. Can Vader deflect spells with his lightsaber?
I would say you can't, because he can deflect physical things, but can he deflect non-physical
things? In the movies,
things?
They manifested themselves in physical things. Like the spells came out as physical things.
Well, I think that's what they needed to do for a movie, but movies are stupid. And in real life magic, when I really throw my wand. Okay, well, let's do this.
All right.
Let's leave it. I would love for whoever's still with us to please chime in and tell us who you think would win and why.
Yes.
But before we go, we cannot not talk about the big news of the week. I just opened that.
You get a big news. You get a big news. You get a big news.
Now, I know that some people might think that news starts with a T, with the T word, but I think we're going to talk about the M word.
I know what the M word is.
What is the M word?
It's Mandalorian.
So before we go any further, if you haven't seen it, we're going to tell you just to stop the video right now.
Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler.
Stop
Turn
the
away.
video. Goodbye. It was
Bye.
nice knowing you. See you later. See you next week. So we are going to try to get our squad buddy, the very one and only Two-Tone Capone, on the phone right now. And I know he's home because he's always around now to play with us.
All right.
With the rest of us losers who
Do it.
only play video games
Dial
all
him up.
day. And dialing. And Two-Tone.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
We're glad you're there. We have something very important to talk to you about.
Let's go.
Have you seen Mandalorian on Disney Plus?
Of course, right away.
Did you?
Right away.
I know we watched it.
Immediately.
We watched it the night before it was supposed to come out. We found it. We were like, "Holy crap!"
They're letting us watch this at 10 p.m. on the day before it launches.
And both of us were like, "Thank God it only releases once a week, or we would have spent up all night."
Stayed up all night.
So, what are your initial thoughts?
I love it. I loved it. I really did.
Yep.
So, here's the thing. You guys both. I figured you both were gonna love it. All right. But can I be the devil's advocate? Do you think that you love it because because we audiences are so desperate for really high quality Star Wars content? Like, was it like, I can't know, how are you going to watch a whole series with a guy who's just in a mask and you don't see his face and his eyes and his expression? And look, they're both quiet now.
I have an answer, but if you want to chime in, Two-Tone, before I go, because I'm ready to just...
Well, I don't necessarily like everything they do. I mean, I would like things about every movie, but I love the whole show of this one. This one did have my complete attention as like Empire and Rogue One and some of the other movies.
Exactly, your complete attention. So there was not one scene where I wasn't engaged in terms of like the shot selection, like those broad, vast shots of the planets and just him walking through this terrain and just traversing the landscapes. And like, I wasn't uninterested at any point in this show.
So I'm watching it, half watching it. I'm like tweeting and, doing other things as we're sitting on the couch until the little ears appear. And I just stop everything and I went, no. And then they show the little face of the little baby Yoda species, which we know we'll talk about that there's no actual species name for our
We need
beloved
to know
Yoda.
what the species is.
But I saw his little face and I immediately lost my I just got lightsabered.
Yep.
And I was like, I need a baby Yoda.
That was my favorite part of the episode.
Well, it's
was
guys
watching
that
you
do-
react to Baby Yoda. Wait, it wasn't Yoda. Okay, let's
We're
establish
going to
something
have to
right
call
now.
it baby Yoda, though.
Some people might not know when this is taking place, but it's after Return of the Jedi. So Yoda is gone.
Oh, Yoda's passed away.
Yes, he's passed away.
But he's still part of the Force.
Yes,
He's still with us.
So we see this species, this baby. And we have no idea what this is about.
Right, exactly. We have no idea who wants the baby. We have no idea why they would want a baby dead, even though they said it's 50 years old in the show.
Yeah. Well, Yoda's 900.
Two-Tone, do you have
Yes, exactly.
speculations?
So that also establishes to us that by the time the new movies start with Rey and Kylo Ren, he would still be young. I mean, at his age rate, that's why he's not around. He's still young.
Yes, exactly.
Wait, you lost me.
No.
You're talking about Yoda or the baby?
No, the baby.
Okay.
So
The baby Yoda, if he's aged 50 years old, but still looks 3 months.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
And Kylo Ren ages at our rate, Kylo Ren's going to hit an adult before he would.
Exactly.
So
He's
it would explain why he's not appeared in any of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are pretty smart about trying to be careful about not ruining the timelines.
I'm sure there's a whole committee.
Although there is some speculation. What's that photo you found? I
Okay,
actually am going to send this to
so,
Two-Tone while you
yeah.
describe the photo. I'm going to send you a photo, Two-Tone.
Check your phone, Two-Tone, because this is interesting. We saw this story today, and it said at 18 minutes into this episode, when the Mandalorian goes to his blacksmith, remember that part?
Oh, the armor. Yes, I love that character.
So, me too. So at 18 minutes, there's someone so shadowy in the background, but they focused on it, and the colors and the dents in the helmet match one Boba Fett.
I just sent you the picture, Two-Tone, so you can blow it up. It's very, very faint, but So here's the thing. Your thing is there's no way it's Boba Fett because he's dead.
Yes.
And I say slow down your video when he falls in the pit.
We were going to have an argument.
You don't really see him fall in the mouth.
Bullshit.
Okay, and let's say he does. What if he fell in whole and he cut his way out?
Okay. There's books that have been that's not canon. There are books that say he used his jetpack, which was damaged in the film. He used his jetpack to fly out of the Sarlacc pit. So he wasn't killed. I say he was killed. Boba Fett is dead.
So are you
Died
going to be
in the Sarlacc pit.
disappointed if it's Boba Fett that was there in the shadows?
I think I will be.
I've always assumed him dead.
Yes.
I've just always felt him dead. Not like Mace Windu. I still feel Mace Windu's alive.
What?
You should see John's face right now.
No. You think Mace Windu is alive?
Well, I mean, I think he lived. I mean, maybe he died another. They didn't show his body. They just showed him falling. And to me, I was like, why didn't I get a camera shot of?
He
like,
fell after getting lightning bolted. The guy, listen, I would love some Samuel L. Jackson, some extended like Star Wars universe, but the dude just got thrashed by the Emperor. I've never even heard this theory. Two-Tone, what are you talking about?
I've always left it open when we were. I just always felt that there was other stories to it, like there would be. It was Mace Windu. He had a purple lightsaber. Come on.
I know. Look. One of the most legendary Jedi Masters out there. Would love to see him again, but I don't want to say he survived that. That's a huge like.
Well, now I feel he hasn't returned in any of the new movies, so now I feel like okay, he's gone.
Yes.
But initially, when it happened, I did not say he was dead.
Given the
Boba
chance,
Fett, I thought dead.
Yeah. Given the chance, I think Samuel L. Jackson will come back and do Mace Windu in a heartbeat.
So can we really quick talk about the actual timeline of this show so that for my own brain, even though I know vaguely where it happens, but let's just sort of have a moment of what has happened so far.
Return of the Jedi, I think it's like 5 years after.
You think it's 5 years after
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi?
Maybe less.
And so...
Probably less because those stormtroopers weren't too worn down.
Okay. So who are all of those people, like all the people we're meeting, like, you know, how do they fit into that world?
This is the remnants of the Empire.
Okay.
So you've got like all this army of like stormtroopers and Imperial units. They're just trying to like find their niche now. And they have nothing. No, seriously.
It's just funny, like just like anybody else, they're trying to find their passion, find their life purpose.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not gonna. I still suck at shooting people, but I'm gonna keep this helmet on. No, I think you have all this remnants of the Empire trying to find out their community.
Oh my goodness.
And retain power. That's important.
And then we leave from here, and where do we head? It's before.
Well, you have the.
It's before Force Awakens?
Yes. It's the rebellion trying to establish a new form of law, which is like, I think, reinstating the Galactic Senate.
So,
and I believe this is where the First Order is going to rise?
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, I think the Galactic Senate tries to reestablish itself. And in the wake of that, the First Order says, look, we're something to be dealt with. We have a voice. We're going to rise up. And they influence a lot of people, brainwash a lot of people.
Think of the period post World War I, but pre World War II.
Yep.
Where everybody, there's reparation, because he did say nobody accepts Imperial credits anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So he melts that stuff down and turns it into armor.
Because I was confused about the timeline. I also want to say Carl Weathers and John Beavers did amazing.
Oh,
the bartender and
so good.
The scenes, yeah.
So good. Loved those guys. I hope they're not just one episode people.
What was the bounty droid? Was it IG-11?
IG-11, yeah. Oh, he was awesome. So cool. I hope he's a series of IG, because there's an IG-88 in Empire Strikes Back. So I hope it's a series of IG droids that just keep coming back.
No, don't self-destruct. Well, everybody watching and listening, I would love your comments on what your speculations and your thoughts and your favorite parts of the show was.
Yes.
Two-Tone, thanks for letting us grab you for a
Thank you,
second.
Two-Tone.
We'll see you in a little bit
you for allowing me
on
to be
the
a part of
Realm
this.
World.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll be a regular here with us. So
Yes.
we'll talk to you a little bit later.
Everyone, we love you for watching. Please subscribe. Check out our merch shop to help support us.
Please do. And if you are liking what you're seeing, please share with just one friend you think would like it, because that's one of the best ways to really get this show going and to help us create more content for you. And I'm sure there's something really important I'm missing. So I'm going to check my cheat sheet notes. Oh, yeah, you should probably rate and review us on Apple Podcast. Thank you guys so much. You've been listening to Two Nerds in a Garage podcast. If you're having fun nerding out with us, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Rate and review, as it really helps others find the show, which helps us keep delivering fun content. We're also on all of your other favorite podcast apps, as well as on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
This show is supported by our listeners just like you. Please visit twonerdsinAgarage.com to find all the ways you can help keep supporting us, including our merch shop and direct donations through PayPal. Thank you again for being on this hero's journey with us.